Another pair of cheap Chinese Joy-Cons? Why? Why are you doing this to yourself, man? Why are you doing this to us, the Deem channel? Because they interest me, and they're kind of cool, and they actually work and they're cheap. Let's not babble too much about it. Let's get into it. Welcome back to another episode of Reviews by This Guy. And yes, we got another pair of cheap Joy-Cons, but before we get into that, I'd like to say don't forget to let me spend my money so you don't waste yours by hitting that subscribe button. And if you're interested in keeping informed of new videos being uploaded on the Deem channel, don't forget to click that bell. Click the bell. Keep informed. The videos are pretty good. They're not all bad. Let's get into this cheap pair of Chinese Joy-Cons. As you see, there are a couple of cheap Chinese Joy-Con knockoffs that I've done some videos in the past. I will leave a playlist in the description down below and possibly a card up at the top of the screen. The first one I bought were these guys, and if you watched that video, you would have seen that this blue one for some odd reason does not charge, but they do work. I just think I haven't watched that video in a while, and it's been a while since I reviewed these guys, but I think that these guys vibrated an annoying amount of times and way too much, and that was the issue with this. I'm sure there were other issues, but for the price, they weren't that bad. They actually worked, even in Mario Party. Then I went ahead and I bought these curved guys, which are pretty good. The vibration on them wasn't as bad as those, and it was actually pretty normal. They felt pretty good. They played really well. The sticks felt pretty close to the original Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons. They were not bad. The only thing is I wasn't a big fan of this whole curve hump in the back. They are rather thicker than your normal Chinese Joy-Cons, but they aren't that bad, and they do actually apparently charge on a Nintendo Switch. And they did. Now, these aren't the ones that came with the C charger. This was the micro USB, and you kind of got to charge them individually. That was a fault of these, but as I said, I believe they do charge on the Nintendo Switch. And then I bought these, which I don't even know why they made these. I just had to buy them. They looked interesting. They do work. They did work. They're made of really cheap plastic. They're really lightweight. I guess, like I said in that video, someone thought we needed Joy-Cons that didn't hook to the Switch. Hey, they were cheap. They worked. You want to give them to your kids and don't want them to break your actual ones, they were fine. Now we're babbling. Now that we've gone through all that, let's get into these, and let me give you a little backstory of these Joypad. It doesn't even say Joypads, just Joypad, which is kind of similar to Joy-Con, I guess. And then you got N-Switch, 4N-Switch. They kind of went with the Nintendo Switch color scheme, but of course they wanted to try to change it up a bit and not use the exact packaging. Either way, I think towards the beginning of the year, maybe towards the end of the year, I put these guys in my favorites in months gone by, and I didn't buy it. Then all of a sudden, right before good old Corona happened, I ended up purchasing these guys, and it never made it to the States. So I think about a month or so ago, I decided to purchase them again. I was scrolling through Aliexpress. I said, why the heck not? Let me try again, see if, these will actually come, because the whole Corona lockdown thing kind of lifted slightly. And they got here, I think, on Friday. Let's get the packaging open and maybe look around the box here. As you can see, they do hook to your Nintendo Switch. If you look at them, we'll look at them right here. They kind of look like a similar form factor to your regular Joy-Cons, and that's partly why I bought them. I kind of like the design on them, but let's not talk too much about that. It doesn't give you much on the box as far as any sort of specs or anything, and this box is really tiny, so I'm kind of thinking that they only charge on the Nintendo Switch. There is no USB cable like some of the other ones that I've had over here, and the box feels really light. Now, I only paid like $25 for these, so I mean, I don't have very large hopes for them, but if they do work, $25. Let's get this open And as all these do, they come in the box just like this with this foam covering around them. And that's all you get. You get the Joy-Cons and you get this little, probably useless manual. On the manual, it just shows you some of the buttons here, which are pretty self-explanatory. It says, special instructions. It is hereby stated that this joypad does not have the function of gyroscope. That's great. Infrared imaging and digital motor vibration and sound. So none of all the good stuff from the regular Joy-Cons are in here. Some games that require gyroscope, infrared imaging, and vibration and sound production may not be supported. What do you mean may not be supported? They're not gonna be supported if you don't have that feature. Joypad can be only plugged into the Switch console for games playing. What does that mean? It does not support wireless function, and there is no built-in battery. Wow. It will be charged while plugged into the Switch console. How is it going to be charged if there's no built-in battery? So here they go. They are really sleek looking. See if I can get a close-up of them. Joy-Cons do click. I don't know, the Joy-Cons feel really flimsy, the Joy-Cons. The analog sticks, the joysticks, they feel really flimsy. They don't feel as good as even the ones on these curved ones. As you can see with these, the clicks are louder. You feel more of a response from these ones than you do these ones. You can barely hear it. They do feel quite a bit cheaper. I mean, the plastic does feel slightly harder and more sturdy. The buttons themselves, ooh, I do not like that R button. There's barely any feedback that it's actually being pressed, where as you can hear that, I don't know, they obviously are very, very cheap. It's too bad because they look really good and they actually appear to be the same thickness and form factor or size as your regular Joy-Cons. So it's pretty upsetting to find out that they don't have gyroscope, which means you're not going to be able to use it in any game such as Mario Party where you have to shake it to do stuff, or lean. This is pretty much going to only be used with games like platformers or stuff that don't require any of that. You're not going to feel any vibration out of it. That's pretty upsetting, because I actually like the look of these, and I would have paid an extra $10, $15, $20 for them to include the vibration, the gyroscope. Got my Switch out, and we got a set of actual official Nintendo Joy-Cons on the table, and we got the Chinese bootleg fake Joy-Cons right here. I've been playing with it for about a day just to try to get a feel for how they work. But before we get into that, I want to first compare it to these, and I must say, after looking at these, they look like they've been constructed from the same mold that the original official Joy-Cons have. If you look at them, they look to be of the same thickness, and as you can see, they look fairly similar in thickness and in size. I mean, if you look at these guys like side by side, I would almost think that these ones were official Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons if it wasn't for the different type of buttons and even the style. I still would think they were. Now, something I did notice, as you can see, there is no pair button. There is no SL and SR for these fake Joy-Cons, which means you won't be able to use these off the dock anyway, and they do not work As you can see, let me see if I can get this switch up. They do not work unless they are attached to the Switch, so it kind of makes your Nintendo Switch a Nintendo Switch Lite. But going back to the fact that these look like they're molded out of the same, or molded from the same mold, I got really curious and the wheels started turning in my head, and I was wondering whether it would be possible to take the components, the boards and stuff, the vibration, because this does not have vibration, the gyroscope, because this does not have gyroscope, which means you can't use it in Mario Party or other games that utilize the gyroscope and the vibration. Take those boards from in here and put it in here. If you guys are interested to see me attempt that, leave those in the comments down below. If I get enough requests, I am definitely going to try to get another. I'm not going to use my Joy-Cons, but I'm going to try to get a cheaper one, maybe ones that are broken that I can easily fix, and put them in this case and see if it works, because honestly, guys, these Joy-Cons look really sleek, especially attached to the Nintendo Switch, which you will see in a little while. Now, they're not glossy. This was just a protective layer, which I'll take off. It is, actually, I'm wrong. I am very wrong. The black part of this is glossy. This part is not. Even the housing's plastic feels pretty similar to this. It just does not have that rubber texture that this one does. They are really sleek. Now let me show you them attached to the Nintendo Switch. They click in just like the other ones, and the only time that these Joy-Cons get power, like I said, is when they're attached to the Switch. As you can see, it is moving through the menu. Now, something I also noticed is when the Nintendo Switch is in sleep mode, it seems like you have to press the home button more than once. There was a time where, look, I'm still pressing it. Even if I press it hard, there it goes. It just seems to take a little longer than your regular Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons. Maybe if I hold it in, let it go. See, didn't pop up. Now it popped up. That's a little weird. So that kind of makes you question the responsiveness of these controllers. But while I was playing games, which I'm going to show you, but during gameplay, I didn't see any responsive issues. They seemed to work pretty well to me. It seemed to, every time I pressed the button to shoot or walk or jump or anything, it responded right away. And the controls, even though I thought when I initially started touching these that they felt like kind of, I wouldn't say crap, but I just didn't like them as much as I like the ones on the official Joy-Cons. They don't feel that bad. They're actually pretty nice. I think it's more or less I don't like the flatness of them. They got a flat top instead of your normal domed buttons that you would see like on the official Joy-Cons. They don't feel too bad. The controller is actually pretty nice and pretty responsive. Let's go ahead and get some gameplay in just so I could show you them working, and we'll go from there with the final thoughts. Here we go. We're going to press this several thousand times before the home screen actually comes up, which it's not coming up right now. You see what I mean? Sometimes it doesn't even come up. Now it came up. It's really weird. Once it's up, it works. I don't know if these things go to sleep and it takes a little while before they wake up and actually work. But as you can see, it is working. There is no issue with that. I press left, it goes there right away. I don't see any lag in them. We're going to go ahead. Let's first go with the platformer, and then we're going to go to Bulletstorm. I'm not going to even bother testing Mario Party because we all know it's not going to work, especially since these do not work unattached from the thing, and you need, in certain parts of, I know this is going to look inappropriate, but you need to shake the Joy-Cons in order for certain things to work in that game, so there's no point in testing it there. Just know it's not going to work. As you can see, the D-pad does work, and it is quite responsive. The analog sticks do work. All the buttons are working. Also, you know, with some of the Chinese Joy-Cons, the A and B might be switched, the mapping is off, but for here, A, well, my powers are out, but A does work as A and B is B. The mapping is not off on this. Like I said, I think somehow these guys actually use the official Joy-Con molding to make these, because they are the same form factor. I can't believe I died. I can't believe it. Home button goes right to home. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that initial thing when it's asleep, because the Nintendo Switch is asleep, it puts these controllers to sleep or stops power to the controllers, because these controllers, as I said, only work when they're connected to the Nintendo Switch. So if this goes to sleep, these have no power, unlike those which have a built-in battery, and it actually is still powered when this is asleep, so it wakes it up. So I think it initially takes some time somehow for this to get power. As you can see, it says to press A, and A is A. It's mapped the right way. For a minute there, I thought there was some drift, but I was holding this. I also don't, look, I'm pressing it. I don't see any Joy-Con drift. So that's a plus, although I personally, so far, knock on wood, I've never actually experienced any Joy-Con drift. And as you can see, it is responding very well. All the buttons are mapped right correctly, and all the buttons are working. And this is the screen capture button. And as you can see, it did capture a picture. And it's responding very well. I don't know, in the beginning, like I said, I paid $25 for these. They're lacking functions, obviously, that you will need for some of the Nintendo Switch games, like the gyroscope, which I've repeated many times in this video. You're probably getting tired of hearing it. And the vibration, which the vibration I don't care too much. I mean, it's kind of nice to get the feedback, but it's not necessary. The gyroscope is a little let down. But, as I said, it's kind of intriguing, and it's getting the wheels turning in my head, as I said, that these look to be molded out of the same plastic. The screws seem to be in the same place. It seems to be using pretty similar size screws. Obviously, Nintendo always uses their proprietary screws, but I think that everything about this is the same size, and I think they're using the same mold, which kind of makes me think. Even the ZR button and ZL buttons, they look pretty similar too. These ones look a little longer, but the actual backing that's holding them in, they look pretty similar in size. Get that up there, hopefully I'm in the view. So it's making me think that I can possibly take the boards, the gyroscope, the vibration out of this one and putting it in here into this housing, and hopefully use the same buttons, because I'm kind of fond of them now. The controller does work. If you're looking to bring this on a trip and you're just going to use it in handheld mode, these are not a bad option. If you're going to play some platformers, games like Bulletstorm, games that don't require the gyroscope, for $25, that's not bad in my opinion. Now, obviously, I'm going to use these over a span of a week or so, and if I find any issues with them, I'm going to post that on my Twitter, so don't forget to follow me at Deem Channel for Twitter, and I'll let you know if I find any issues. But so far, besides the lacking features, I don't see any issues with these Joy-Cons, and it might be a future project. If you guys are interested in seeing that, please let me know in the comments down below. If I get enough response on it and people wanting me to do that, I will attempt to take the boards out of here, put them in here, and see if it works, because I really like the look of these. I like the gloss. I know they collect fingerprints, but they look cool, and I definitely like the stripe design on it. I think it makes the Joy-Cons look very striking, very appealing, and it looks really sleek on my gray, well, this is black now, and that's black, so on my black Nintendo Switch, it kind of matches. If you have any questions on these Chinese Joy-Cons from Aliexpress, please leave those in the comments down below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you guys have used these before and you found any issues with that, leave those in the comments down below as well. If you like what was contained in this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. If you found this video to be a waste of time, annoying, I don't know what the heck I'm talking about, and these are garbage town, you can always hit that thumbs down. If you found this video to be of some sort of value or worth sharing, please consider sharing amongst friends and the rest of your social media. And as always, don't forget to let me spend my money so you don't waste yours by hitting that subscribe button.